And
And
game it
we're
down. So
back.
everybody, yeah, we're back. Nothing like a good old hiccup, I tell you.
Yeah, technical difficulties. We'll pull up a little sign that technical difficulties.
I'm doing that. I'm
But
doing that.
yeah, but jumping right back in, yeah, bigger
Yeah.
companies swabbling up smaller companies and destroying them. EA's the worst. Microsoft has done it. They've bought up great companies and destroyed them. I think I've already gone on a rant about Rare. But we're going to jump back into the video and see where Frost is going with this. So
Mm-hmm.
sharing,
Sure.
two, and
Okay.
there we go. Right, back in.
Interference from various governments thinking a monopoly was afoot. After some convincing, a little, I'm not going to do that, they got it down, but Sony wasn't intimidated by the throat goatmanship on display. They were sticking to their own game plan. And that's where we are now. Dropping Helldivers 2, reportedly the game has done gangbusters, 12 million copies sold in 12 weeks, making it the fastest selling PlayStation published title ever. Why then all the corpo dickbaggery? They took Helldivers 2 off the market in over 170 countries due to their stubborn insistence that people needed PlayStation Network accounts to play online. That included PC players who got the game off of Steam. Sony said they'd lift the requirement, but have yet to revert it. You published a runaway success and you're screaming, slow down, it's ruining my hair? That's what's odd. I have a feeling that Sony doesn't want to deal with the long-term cost of operating a live service game as generous as Helldivers 2. Because freeloaders, an endearing term to describe people that play but don't pay in live service games, do put a strain on the budget. Freeloaders are fine for player versus player games because they're the content for paying customers as well as the marketing. One whale may outspend 100 krill, but 100 krill can spread the word about your game farther and wider than one whale. You need both for a healthy ecosystem, so most games rely on the churn of players. New krill replacing old, attracting new whales to replace old whales. Sony doesn't seem to want the churn though.
Interesting.
It's as if they again desire an isolated aquarium. Ghost of Tsushima is also on PC, but they need to integrate into the PlayStation Network to play online. It is free, for now. It's easier to raise prices once your audience gets settled in, and it's not an uncommon strategy. For example, a Netflix subscription in 2007 cost $18 a month for 18 hours of streams, but that wasn't too popular, so it went down to $9 for as many hours as you liked. And we've been getting closer to the initial asking price ever since. The customer can see this as price gouging, but from a business perspective, it's a severe undercutting to amass an audience before raising prices back to where they should have been. People always talk about the tricks that games use to keep you locked in, but they're also used to keep out weak customers. From a psychological perspective, raising prices slowly filters out the weak spenders and leaves consumers that are more, what's the word, tolerant, loyal, cultish, no. Premium membership, that's the one. As funny as it is to joke that console warriors are actually living in the 1984 Orwellian supercontinents of Oceania, Eurasia, and East Asia, I think Sony wants less People's Temple and more of a country club vibe with a clientele that's willing to spend more money for what seems to be a premium service. And in order to do so, the club becomes more exclusive and picky about who it wants in, as well as enforcing strict regulations. PlayStation's the homeowners association that doesn't let you paint the house green with little X's. And I don't feel I'm too far off base that Sony's willing to cut off players that aren't willing to be made profitable through data sharing or raw spending. They've already shown that
Wow.
they held the numbers when they left Japan because they didn't deem the profits to be enough to warrant a primary focus. And their most recent earnings call speaks to this, stating that they expect a drop in revenue as we get further away from the pandemic spike of 2020, but also anticipate picking things back up within the next fiscal year through a focus on engagement. I guess the reason this feels
Sony's focus on engagement time over units sold makes sense for them. They're trying to build their own garden again. You know, people don't want the gardens. We want crossplay. We want games to be released from the shackles. As consoles have become more and more like PCs with their abilities and their capabilities, people want more of a PC style ecosystem, which is everyone plays everything and you do what the hell you want with it. You know, you want to mod your game, you go right ahead. It's your game. Do whatever the hell you want. But consoles have always been very curated. You know, you buy the product and you play it the way they want you to play it. And then when online came about, the company has always been able to update products as they decided. Now, usually that's just fixing bugs, errors, mistakes. But then, of course, they started releasing unfinished games with the intention that they're going to fix it. Sorry, finish it. Sorry, fix it. Down the line. But that's not how a PC game works. You release the game and then the people, the consumers, can do what they will with it. It's their product. But how many games now, especially live services, you don't own the game. You have the right to use it. You have access to the game. And I think this might be where PlayStation's going. They're trying to have their cake and eat it. They want all the control. Hence, you've got to be on our network, using our server if you want to use our games, even single-player games. But they also want the numbers. So maybe they're just going to weed out people who would challenge them and welcome those who will accept it.
I think they need to maybe read the art of the deal or something. The leverage that they think they have is not what they think. Just because they have the money and the years in the business doesn't mean that they could all of a sudden dictate to the audience.
No, but they have the product. They have the thing that people want. I want to play their games. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5 specifically because they're looking at it. I want to play Spider-Man 2. I loved the first Spider-Man. I want to play Spider-Man 2. I want to play God of War Ragnarok. I loved the first God of War. Man, I put a lot of hours into that game. But I need a PlayStation console to play these games, meaning that if I want to play this, I need to play in their garden. But how much of their tomfoolery, shall we say,
Exactly.
to be PC, how much of it am I willing to accept? Well, it ain't the only garden I've got access to. I'm going to diversify. Sometimes I'm going to go to someone else's garden. If PlayStation is not playing the way I want to play, then I will happily leave. But others might not. Others might stay. And that's how companies do it. I mean, the example he mentioned, Netflix, when it first came out, was expensive with only a limited amount of access to content. People weren't willing to pay for such a meager thing. So they dropped the price and went unlimited. You just binge products, binge your videos, anything, all the videos, anytime you want. But the price has steadily gone back up. And as they have been profitable, all of a sudden there have been other challenges to the throne. Other companies want to make their own streaming service, meaning that all the options available to Netflix have been taken. That's why they've moved into producing their own material, their own content. Well, Xbox might be going that way. I see Xbox going the way of Sega, as a publisher and not a producer of Xboxes. That would mean that they would be able to dictate their own content and make a lot of profit and not have to have the outright cost of the units.
That sounds okay. I mean, for those who want it, like you say, making sense for them.
Yeah,
I think they just have to be a bit more transparent. I feel like they're trying to pull a fast one, and they think that we don't.
Yeah. Transparency ain't the name of the game, buddy. The name of the game is profit, and if it means making a little money now, okay, that's good. But some companies are wiser. Microsoft is playing the long game. Sony's playing the short-term game, but they're all in it for a profit. It's just whether whether the customer will take it.
That's it. The reason I did that is this reminded me of alligators. I saw these two YouTube comedians, Hodgkins. They did this hilarious sketch about how alligators behave like they as though you can't see them. It's like, I hope that son of a bitch comes over just a few more feet. I'm gonna grab it. It's like yeah, you can see where they're going with this, but it's one of those things where when the mouse can see the trap, so to speak, it's gonna. Now I'm not saying real mice, but as far as our walls are concerned. Yeah,
What's so strange to me is because
oops. Oh, sorry. The show's
Yeah, sorry, no, dropping that because that's his main argument here is that this strategy is not bold and scary, and it seems dumb, but if it plays off, it's going to be really profitable for them. I think PlayStation's making some moves that baffle us in the short term.
Yeah,
I think it's a risk. It is a risk, but the payoff is enormous. Imagine that an entirely dedicated, curated fan base that just
Makes a lot of sense. You think about it because if you said you've got Steam and PC gaming taking up picking up in speed Steam picking up speed if you will. If that allows what they sorry if that cuts into PlayStation's base, then of course they're within their rights, or it's only wise to try and hedge.
Yeah,
Their
I think
grabbers.
the way people play has changed because as technology has advanced, it's easier and easier to get a PC that can play many games, and the quality of games now is such that most PCs, even lower end cheap ones, can play most games. So PC gaming is so much more ubiquitous. It used to be quite a difficult barrier. One, owning a PC. Two, having a PC that could play games. That was a massive upfront investment, and some families couldn't afford that. My family couldn't. I was a console gamer because it was the only way I could afford to play.
It's
But
not ironic.
now it's not the barrier it once was. And between Epic and Fortnite and Steam having every other game,
And
it's I can easily see that PC gaming has eaten into consoles domination of the market, so they've had to they're trying to make moves to ensure that they're going to keep making it. Trouble is that all of these moves, I just don't see how it's consumer friendly.
yeah,
It's always at the cost of the consumer. It's all us who have to pay more for less. It's shrinkflation for video games.
yeah. Take it as for suckers. Well, but that being said, oh, speaking of which, yeah, your name tag, Gamer Dan.
Oh, yeah. Do apologise. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
It's not like anyone knows my actual name.
Yes, I've been there. But that being said, I must say, people, this is I just love, one thing about the so-called console wars, or at least as it once was called, it's, in the name of the conglomerate, if you will, that is all these companies. God bless you. I just love the way that, I feel the same way about music, and this what I love about pop culture study is looking at how companies try to play off each other, play the market, play. It's like a microcosm of even the political arena, if you will. But
East
and
side,
it's
west
just,
side.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's just, I think it's just so it's so interesting because one thing I don't know when I got into it so much. Maybe it was high school, but the days when I realized when they started to churn out more and more games than I had time to complete, let alone afford, and or even if and I started to say to myself, wait, I'm being played here in this, not the games. So I started to say to myself, what's going on? Why is this? Why are these companies doing these moves? And then I got into this whole rabbit hole of this company is doing this, and then they're releasing this because of, and that whole, just looking at the whole industry and the decision making process behind why things are done is such a fascinating thing. It makes the art a lot more interesting. So
It is. I think that it's important to see how the sausage gets made.
yeah,
Out of respect for the animal, it's always important to see what steps are taken to get the thing you want. I I know how my sausage is made. I've seen it firsthand. It ain't pretty, but I'm glad I saw it. And it's the same with gaming. Gaming is is one of my passions. I love gaming. It's such a great hobby. It's such an amazing place to be, and most of the communities are quite good.
yeah, yeah.
But we do have to hold these companies to task because they're the ones who are holding the IPs. They're the ones holding the tech that we need. And if they want our business, then they've got to show us that they can be trustworthy.
It's it,
I
and,
just don't
and
know
that's it.
anymore.
And so this is the thing because even like I mean you're evidently very privy to the releases and the I guess the best ways to get the tech because at some point I became a bit of a torrent dude, as I say, I'll let you all know. But just
Yeah,
like
we've all
Top
been
Hat
there.
Gaming Man, yeah, just like Top Hat Gaming Man, sometimes you had to because the game's just not around. So that's what probably know I did then. Yeah. So that being said,
That is
people,
it's a
yeah,
topic for another day, but I do believe that there is a line for whether it's pirating or just commerce.
mm,
If the company's not selling it, if there's no legitimate way to get it, it's perfectly fine to torrent.
That is it.
But if a company's selling it and then you torrent, well, that's piracy.
Yeah. So yeah, I buy that. That being said, sometimes I just opt to not get the game altogether if I get a sense that I can't afford it, but I can have fun with it and all the title in the
Mm,
meantime until blah blah blah. Sorry, the camera's very red right now, but oh well. I guess nobody
that's all
cares.
right.
Um,
I agree with you there. I mean, there's a lot of titles that I'm sitting on, I'm waiting, I want, but I'm willing to wait until it's a little bit cheaper or it's times are better. But there are some titles that I want to play, but I won't out of principle because I don't agree with the company. They've made decisions and they've done practices that I can't stand for. Like I love the Borderlands series.
mhm.
Great series of first person shooters. The looter shooters, great games. Loved them. Played the first one 3 or 4 times. Second one twice. Then, of course, Randy Pitchford, CEO, just started making some really stupid decisions.
Mm,
And ultimately, I haven't played the third. It's cheap, it's fun, it's well received, but I won't play it because I will not support that company. Their games are just locked off for me from now on. I don't support that company. But
that's
that's
good.
my decision, and I'm using my wallet to say something.
I love that. I mean, that's the power that everybody has. And now that being said, this is one other reason why I love the sub analyzing pop culture because when people boycott or boycott in some cases, it it affects the game's companies, of course, trajectory, and ultimately, it, it's important to know what the what the landscape looks like because you may expect another game to come out and you may wonder why. But if you're privy to the whole narrative but that's behind in the pop culture community, if you will, you would know that the company is likely to do or not to do. I used to avoid reading reviews because I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want to play my game and that's that. And to an extent, I kind of still am like that in a way. But when it comes to studying these companies, especially as I'd love to, of course, collaborate at some point with a few. Um, it's good to know what's going on, and that's why I said. And it looks like Sony right now is well, of course they said it comes down to money, but they're also thinking about trying to like this man was saying, holding to diehard fans who subscribe. Uh, they're gonna have to start. They may end up having to blow up one of their castles and build another one. If
I think I think Sony's interesting at this point in time because, like at the beginning of the video, the cold take, he says, "Hey, we're at the poker table, and Sony has their hands in their pockets with 1,000 yard stare, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing. The moves they're making don't make sense for industry standard, and they don't even make much sense for how, if they want to achieve certain goals. So." It's like everyone's speculating, everyone's throwing out ideas, trying to figure out where they're going. Xbox, we know where they're going. They're thinking long term. They're buying up companies. They're buying up the things that are going to work long term. The cloud based gaming, they're on it. Buying up big titles, big companies that could produce. They've done it before. They bought up Rare for the next generation consoles. They've bought Activision Blizzard. Boom, they've got Activision games on their Game Pass, and they're thinking about making their next generations of games on their consoles. Okay, yeah, we can see where they're going. But PlayStation, what the hell? I
capacity,
I don't entirely agree with the video with Hot Cold Frost's take saying that they're trying to create their own garden because I think that they've been burned too many times for that. But honestly, I don't know where they're going with this. I mean, I, forcing the Helldivers and they're releasing their games on PC. Okay, that might be like testing the waters. They're selling a lot of games. It's very profitable. Making people join their network might be a way of gathering data. I think that they're not quite sure. Honestly, my gut feeling is that they don't, even PlayStation don't know where they're going. So getting people on the PlayStation network means that they have access to a lot more data, run times, game times, what they're doing in game. So they can use that data to start making better decisions, to start planning ahead. But I think they shot themselves in the foot by forcing everyone to join the network. But they needed that data to decide what they were going to do next.
yeah, I think a bit like with politics, you have to you get the best results from the public when you involve them in your decision making process. Do a
Yeah.
poll. Say, what do you think, people? Do you think because we want to do this or
Trouble
something
is
like
that
that?
it shows weakness, though. If they told everyone, "Hey, we don't know what we're doing. Can you help us?" People would, oh my
That's the whole thing.
God.
It's another thing in politics. Like people, nobody wants to apologize for certain things. It's like because it's like you just get beaten up there over the other by the other people's side and so on. But you have to sometimes just be vulnerable and say, maybe not apologize or just maybe just say, you're going to try something new. What do you think of it? At least get people to chip in to make them feel that it's a bit of democracy at play. People are actually looking
It's a
for it.
nice idea, but for a company with with stockholders and a share price, the sign of impropriety or lack of direction would be a killer for them.
Yeah. So you have to stick to
Honestly,
it.
I think it's something to watch. We've got to keep an eye on PlayStation for the next couple of months because everything they're doing might give us more information. I think it's just information asymmetry. They know more than we do. We only know what they've shown us, and we're trying to speculate, which is fun. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
I hope you out there in watching this and you're enjoying it too. Maybe you've got your own ideas. Whack it in the comment box. Let's see what you think. But I don't know what they're doing, but I will say this, I am glued to watching PlayStation. Their state of play dropped. I've got some mixed feelings about that, but I am watching PlayStation. I dug out my old PS Vita and I started playing this again just because it's been on my mind.
That's sorry for you.
Is this some kind of weird viral marketing that I didn't realize? Like, yeah, the
That's it.
company acts schizophrenic. Everyone's talking about it, and all of a sudden, everyone's buying their products.
Definitely, it sounds like a clever
Is it? I mean, do you want to shoot yourself in the foot in order to for
move.
short-term gains? Is it the short-term gains? Is it a long-term strategy? I don't know.
I think it's now I think about it, it sounds like one of those things. You remember, people? I'm the guy who, even till now, I'm paranoid or I have a conspiracy theory rattling in my mind about did Sonic fan bait their audience with that ugly Sonic that they first made.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
says no, but I say I don't know if this could be true with Sony. I think it could possibly be true with Sonic, but maybe it's a reach in both cases. I don't know.
Perhaps. Something to
But
think
yeah,
about. We need to think about more. We need more information. Is what
yeah, mate.
we need more information. But
Gamer Dan,
again, back it in the
yeah,
comments.
for sure, people. I just want to say, Gamer Dan, you also brought something about Nintendo's thousand year. God,
I know. I wish I had time.
I,
We've run a little bit long, but maybe next time we could talk about it.
okay,
I wanted to talk a little bit more about Thousand Year Door, which oh my god, I am stoked. I bought it. Well, no, next week is payday, and the moment the payday hits, I'm going out and I'm buying myself a physical copy just to support the game.
that's it.
But I am really excited because the results on it are so promising. But it does open up a bunch of questions. Should Nintendo, who has an enormous, like a Disney style library of past games that are beloved, if they start releasing those games, what direction will they take? Will it be good for the company? Will it be bad? I mean, logically it'd be good, but then this is an old game that's selling better than a new game. What does that tell the company? And the company's
And this,
already making changes to be more of a contemporary. It used to be Nintendo had their own way of doing things, the blue sky strategy. They weren't in it to make new gamers, but they catered to those gamers they had. It was, they had a beautiful garden. They built a beautiful garden, and if you were in that garden, it was great. But they weren't trying to get you in. Then the Wii came along, and all of a sudden, everyone joined in the garden.
okay, that's what I'm saying. Gamer Dan, I want to. I think I'm interested now, even though we'll go into it later next week or next time.
Next time,
Yeah.
we're going to go into more detail, but it's something worth thinking because all these companies have very different strategies. And like the video said, if we can predict where they're going, we can get ahead of the curve and we can profit from it. We can enjoy, we can gain. But if we are at the whims of their decisions, then I just don't trust these big companies, even Nintendo to some degree. I don't trust it to be entirely customer friendly because
Yeah,
it's a
man, it does.
company. It's heart of heart. It is a company.
Mm, that's the thing. And the last thing I was going to ask is, as far as selling physical copies are concerned, I think I'll just throw this out there as a breadcrumb. Do you? Ah, so I mean, let me see. The Wii, the Wii, the Wii U, of course, the Switch. They've all brought back all the games again and again and again through their thing. Uh, you think again selling physical copies is going to be a big deal, or do you want to save your thoughts on that for next time? Or
I think I think it's worth talking about it in greater detail, but I think it's interesting because Nintendo has a library that warrants bringing their games back. The games are so popular, if they brought them back, they would sell. Super Mario RPG came back, and it sold crazy well. That was an N64 game, updated, but they also have their own Game Pass system. If you join the Nintendo network, you play all games, but that selection is pitifully small. Like it is embarrassingly small for the amount of games that they have available. Is it because they're trying to hold back the choice games to be reselling them? I don't know. Something to think about. Right, but that's
yeah,
next
dude.
time.
Next time for sure. Given that, thanks so much, mate. And are you going to be game streaming anytime soon?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. It's been a busy period, but we should be going in, and I'm hoping to get along with some of our other guest hosts and get
Yes,
some online gaming together. That will be fun.
definitely on the books, people. And given that, have a good one. Thanks again for your time, mate.
All right, peace.
Peace.